We're talking horror, guys. All right. I would like to welcome my co-host, Renee. Thank you for joining and applying to co-host. I've got my silent co-host for what we watch on stage as well. Follow what we watch as needed. I think most of you should be already following, but click at the top at www Film TV or click on the little fun, beautiful icon. We love our logo and go ahead and follow. Who knows what song is playing right now? It's a Jodie Foster song. It's La vie c'est chouette, which means life is cool in French. So, Renee, please.
Oh, bonjour. Oh, c'est mon temps.
Exactly. Oui. Welcome. Tell people a little bit about how you felt about Nope and how you're co-hosting today.
Yes. So I'm not gonna lie. When I was like watching Nope, I didn't know. I wasn't like able to feel feelings because I was thinking a lot. I was really going a lot of hmms. It was a lot of them going on. However, when I like, there's a point in the movie when I realized that this is about consumption. And it's crazy because you and I, we like just had this conversation about the concept of consumption. How are we consumed? What do we consume?
Mm-hmm.
And in this world, especially this world with the internet and social media, and how we present ourselves and how other people present themselves, it's just this constant circle of consumption. And honestly, when we die, the earth is going to consume us. So to watch this movie, which in my mind posited that there is a beast that is consuming all organic matter, and it is a predator, and is in our electronics, and is
Mm-hmm.
affecting our electronics, and we need to know how to deal with predators.
Right, right. I fully agree. And again, welcome to What We Watch. Thank you, Renee. There are obviously going to be spoilers throughout this entire conversation. I know some people don't care for spoilers and other people do. Just know that we are talking about the movie here. If you want to come up and speak and chat and tell us your feelings, please press the mic at the bottom left and request, and I'll go ahead and let you up. But yeah, let's get into it. First of all, this is Three-Peat JP, my friends, okay? Y'all will refer to him as Three-Peat JP. I understand how we felt about Us. I'm with you guys, okay? I heard you. I see you. Thoughts and prayers. I'm listening and I'm learning. But I think Us was legendary as well. What We Watch, if you could throw up some tweets that we shared, some facts about Nope and Jordan Peele's entire filmography since Get Out. I mean, the guy is just a powerhouse. He's really setting the standard and resetting the standard for horror films. So I want to know if I have any hashtag gripe guys in the room, meaning did anyone dislike the film? And if you did, please do a little peace sign with the heart plus sign at the bottom. Click on that and do the little peace sign. If you did not like this movie, um, this is not necessarily a safe space, and everybody knows that. But I do want to know if anybody was like, you know what, I didn't really like it, and here's why. I like to make a space, not necessarily safe, but a space for my gripe guys to go ahead and talk. Give me a clapping emoji if you love the movie. Let me know. I loved it. I've watched it twice now. It is absolutely fantastic. I think what I really want to get into first that, and please listen to the podcast that I was on as well. Okay, I got a lot of claps. Okay, we're in good company, you guys. I was on a podcast, One Take Pod. Tej is in the room. Tej, Royden, and Dex allowed me to be on there, and we had a little bit of a conversation about that. But I kind of want to hear some other people's voices and their ideas as well. So please feel free to come on up. Here's what I was talking about on the podcast. If you didn't listen, here's some of it. My love for this movie has really come from the sound mixing, the sound design, the sound editing. I mean, this shit was crazy, okay? Um, there are times where the creature, Jean Jacket, himself, herself, themself, can we decide, is Jean Jacket non binary?
Definitely
Or
non-binary.
okay, is Jean Jacket maybe a man or a woman? I don't know. Like we have to, there's different brands of chaos that we assign, but Jean Jacket might be non-binary. We don't know. Um, but the screaming in the beginning of the movie, we were kind of all shook. We didn't know where it was coming from. But screams of people is horrific no matter what. So Jordan Peele like immediately set the tone for this film with screams at the beginning. And I'm like, yo, it's so cool. And then, you kind of get to understand through the film that like, oh, this motherfucker's eating people. I want to know, did anyone figure out before Jordan Peele had his one line that changed the entire trajectory of the movie that this UFO was not a UFO? That was not a ship. Before he said it, did anyone know? Co-host Renee, did you know?
Honestly, I didn't think it was a ship because of how it was slinking. How it like slinked across, and maybe it was like the visual effects, because maybe Jordan Peele didn't intend, because I know these visual effects artists, they're overworked right now. But it's slinked, and it just made me think of like a serpent, which is like another form of predator. So
Yeah, I definitely did not know um, that it was going to be an actual creature. Spoiler alert. Welcome to What We Watch. What I did know was that I knew I knew Jordan Peele wasn't going to advertise something as aliens and it be aliens, right? I knew it was going to be something slick. I don't know. I'd encourage y'all to think back to when Get Out was coming out. We had a feeling, right? But then like you really kind of didn't. Like the theme was there, the concept was there, but then you watch the movie, you're like, holy shit, I could have never anticipated that. And I think that's really, really cool about his movies, right? We go into knowing horror. There's kind of a horror in the unknown as well. And shout out to people that watch trailers. I generally don't. But I think Jordan Peele and marketing, they really know what they're doing. We know what to expect with Jordan Peele, and he's setting the tone for what types of things we expect from horror. Mess, welcome up to the stage. How did you feel? What are the things before we get into? Don't let me be very nerdy, guys, because I'm gonna get into my nerdy bag.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me up. I thought it was a great movie. I go into him definitely thinking like, all right, what is he talking about from the jump, right? Like I pay attention. Like I'm not just like watching it. I'm like analyzing the film, right? So I um, once the horse, the fake one, once that got eaten, and then like he spit it back out and it hit the car. That's when I was like, okay, that's like the all right. That's not like aliens. Like that's a thing because like basically he was like he's eating and it's like wait a minute, what the fuck is this? Like no, and he spit it out. And but he was intentional, right? It wasn't like yo, I'm just gonna
Mm-hmm.
spit it out into the ground. He spit it right back out at OJ to be like, yo,
Yeah.
I see what you're doing. I see you, and I'm gonna get you, right? So at that point, I was like, okay, it's sentient, it's alive. I think what was dope to me about this, and again, a lot of this was about spectacle, right, and about how like you said, how we consume things. But what to me, it was like what I took from it was like you had this guy, and I can't remember his name, so I'm gonna call him Jupiter until someone tells me his name. Like
Jupe.
Like he
Yeah, we'll
gets
just call
this
it short for Jupiter. So you're good. Yeah.
right. So he spends his whole life exploiting, you know, the chimp, um, and then it goes wrong. Like it goes bad, and so it's instead of him being like, you know what, like I learned my lesson. Like he now was doing it with this alien, right, and creating this entire business. And so to me, it was like you're not learning from your mistakes. Like you
Mm.
haven't learned from the past, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it got you before, and now clearly it got him again. And it took his whole family, everybody, right? And so, but it was that exploitation, right? Like you're
Mm-hmm.
not, you're not, you're not being one with animals. You're not being at peace with animals. But on the converse side, you had OJ and his family who spent, like again, to set it up. Like, yo, our family was the first ones with the horses, and we've been in the first one with the picture. We've been taking care of these horses and animals forever. Like his respect and reverence for the horses and for the animals, it gave him a level of understanding
Yes.
about what he was dealing with
Right.
from the jump. So everyone was like, while everyone's like freaking out and trying to like scared, he's like being very calculating. Like, all right, it did this, it did do that. All right, what's going on? You know what? All right, I got it. And so his respect kept him alive. Right.
Yeah, and
Um.
it's
Okay.
interesting because when you first start watching the movie, they kind of build everyone's personalities, right? Because you got the sister who's like, yeah, 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 whatever, dad would make me do this, and I don't know if y'all remember the dialogue, but I was like, what's the purpose of this? Just to kind of build like the separation between her and her brother. I was like, yeah, dad told me I was gonna get to train that horse. That was my horse to train, and you was up there, and you didn't even realize. And so it's like the son, OJ. OJ got to like have kind of created a path through his father created a path for him to like have that relationship with animals, and like even in the beginning of the film, the first was like, okay, my sister's gonna be on her way. He's not someone that likes to be on camera talking to people or like just being that quote unquote spectacle. I see everybody using that word. I actually did not even go towards that word at all, so I'm very very tickled by everyone using that. It's obviously right, but he didn't even want to do like a safety training. Like he is not want to be in the eye, and I think Jordan Peele probably saw himself in OJ and wanted to make sure that that was expressed through that character. Like, I don't even like, I just want to do my job. Like, I just want to take care of my horses. All this safety training and all this rah rah shit, like just trying to be like, in the lens of people in front teaching and all the other stuff that comes with quote unquote Hollywood. OJ wasn't want to do that, but Kiki got it. Emerald was like, I got it. Like, I'm doing it. So she's the vibrant one. She's the aspect of like, I do like it. It's fun. I don't know if I love the horse taking care, the horse side of it, but like, I love that I get to tell you guys the story of how Haywood started. So that was just really cool to see that. But I think that with the exploitation of the horses and the things, like that's where Stephen Young's character came in. It's like, you don't give a fuck about any of this. You just care about making money, right? And making your wife happy or whatever. You don't care about anything else. You don't care about, they even try to make him seem like he cared when he was like, oh, my lovely co-host or my lovely whatever, that when the woman was beat up by the chimp, he kind of like shouted her out, but she's not even a part of like the extravaganza. She's just like sitting in the crowd. So definitely something to that, like, all right, if you're going to exploit animals and people, you're going to get eaten the fuck up, and it's going to be a gruesome thing for you. And we can get into that too with the TMZ guy and how that TMZ death, for me, that part of the scene, that part of the movie just stuck out big time because there was so much comedy around somebody like being in a lot of pain. And I was like, there's a reason for that, because he does not like the TMZ guy. Like, the TMZ guy is what this movie is about, right? It's those of you that are always exploiting people's experiences and people living their day-to-day lives or whatever it is for money. And that's what this film, was kind of like, yeah, that's what you fucking get. But I want to welcome Big Thigh Gemini. Welcome to What We Watch. The legendary House of Coochie. Don't make me say your name. All right, they left. Mark P4, welcome.
Thank you guys for having me. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So, I thought it was a solid film. I really enjoyed it. If I was to rank them, I would go Nope 3, Get Out 2, and Us 1.
Oh my God,
Um,
twins.
yes, I love
Everyone's
Us.
so mad at me for putting Note before Get Out. I do not care.
Yeah, yeah, man. And so that film, I think there were two main points that Nope was trying to hit on. The first one, I think human arrogance, and I think somebody talked about it earlier. This idea that you can tame animals, like those things are still going to act within their nature. Whether it was Gordy or the thing that was in the sky.
Or the
Like,
horses.
yes, or the horses. Like at some point, those things are going to act within their nature. So I think that Peele was trying to hit on something about humans being so arrogant, when it comes to trying to tame wild animals. Like you just
Mm-hmm.
can't. And then the second thing, I think that organism, I think maybe that thing was like a metaphor for something. Um, I talked about this in a space a couple days ago. That organism, I think that was probably a metaphor for abuse. And I'm talking about systematic abuse. Um, when you when we talk about systematic abuse, right? This is the type of abuse that you can't see. From the outside, everything looks normal. But we know that people are on the inside, they're suffering. Things are wrong. There's something that's
Mm,
happening to those people. Well, when you think about that organism in the sky, what did it spend the entire movie or most of the movie doing? Hiding behind a cloud. It looked normal. You couldn't see it. My second point is Jordan Peele released a trailer called Rainbow. It was a 30-second trailer. I think he released it on YouTube. And in that trailer, Judy Garland was singing that song called Over the Rainbow. Judy Garland, on the set of The Wizard of Oz, she suffered some of the worst abuse in Hollywood. Um, but again, from the outside looking in, you would
mm,
think Judy Garland was living this charmed life,
mhm,
but she was suffering from a lot of abuse. And then my third point is this: when it comes to systematic abuse, most people, they want proof. When somebody tries to blow the whistle on something, nobody believes them until they can actually come up with evidence.
yep.
What did the Hayward spend the entire movie trying to do? Get proof that that thing was actually real.
And let me tell you, I'm telling you, I said this on the podcast. Let me tell you, if Kiki Palmer came to me with that picture, I would have been like, girl, why did you Photoshop a blanket into this picture? Don't play with me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would have
Exactly.
easily dismissed her ass. Like, girl, this is not a UFO. This is a blanket in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Something, somebody just let their blanket go. Like, so, some gaslighting there too, I guess, but not really. But, yeah, and I think it was also just like comedic in a way, like definitely systematic abuse, but he made it kind of lighthearted in a way that making fun of people, like if you were alive during the time or if you were adult enough to remember how like big it was to talk about aliens. I mean, I think it's cyclical at this point. There's like points where everybody's always talking about UFOs and whatever, and they're like UABs or whatever, or UAPs. But I think it was comedic in a way that he was like, this is how silly it is when y'all try to like bother and capture something that don't want to be fucking bothered. Um, Spoiler alert, this is my little, I'm probably saying it a little too early in the space, but just so y'all know, this movie is about minding your own goddamn business and stop looking at everything and let people have their own damn space. God damn it. All right. Otherwise, you might suffer consequences. It's really just about like, why you over there looking at me while my girl's standing there? You know what I mean? Like, that's what this movie is about. Really, they should have had that in the fucking score. Because that's what it was. Like ultimately it ended up being that like if you respect the privacy, quote unquote, of these creatures and their characters and you stop looking at them like they're, a quote unquote hashtag spectacle, as opposed to living, breathing things that have feelings and emotions, because really like you're allowed to have anger, right? You're allowed to be angry. We expect people to respect us when we're angry. And sometimes we act out when we're angry. But if we're always, made to be these show animals or made to be puppets of something, you need to know the parameters. So that's what this movie's about. Mind your damn business and stop going over there looking at me like that. Why are you looking at me before I beat your ass, before I eat you? So that's ultimately that. So thank you, Mamba Mentality. Welcome again, Big Thigh Gemini. You back up?
Yeah, I'm here.
Talk to me. How'd you feel?
I want to. Well, when you asked if anyone knew if the alien was eating people,
Yeah.
I didn't know that it was quote unquote eating people, but I remember at the beginning. This is after OJ's dad dies, and he goes into the stables, and there's a newscast playing, and they're talking about 3 missing hikers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody caught that,
Yep.
but I figured that's where the keys and the pennies and all the metal, um, all the metal came from. So I knew something was up then. Um, and my only other question is, and someone kind of answered this on my feed, but the standing shoe, like, is there a reason for the standing shoe?
I have my theory. Does anybody else have their theory on the standing shoe?
I have a theory. It goes back to what they said, like a bad miracle or whatever. I think it was just really just like this one just like weird thing that was happening, because I was like, why the fuck is the shoe standing up like this? And when young Jupe, he doesn't realize that looking at that standing shoe is what saved his life. He thought that he had a connection with the ape, but he didn't realize that the only reason why the ape didn't maul him too was because his eyes were so focused on the shoe and he was not looking at the damn predator that he didn't get mauled.
Did anybody notice, and this is kind of a trick question, and heart and the plus sign emoji or plus sign at the bottom. Clap if you agree, peace sign, or clap if you agree, please sign if you don't. Did anybody notice, did Jean Jacket eat any people of color?
Jupe is Asian.
Right. So, and did he eat any black people? Kind of a trick question here. So he ate people of color. The person of color that he ate was the one that was, as a result, exploiting them. Here's the weird thing about him eating Steven Yeun's character at the end, because Steven Yeun, we presume that they've sold them multiple horses and that he kept getting horses. So for a while, what I took from that was that he was feeding the creature, and that was like kind of, you know, what's it called when you got an agreement, you know? So I think the creature is like, how did he just was letting out horses and the creatures came and kept eating the horses? That was kind of weird. But eventually it was kind of, you know, if you're into like metaphors, the creature may or may not have ever eaten a black person. Because if the creature was there when, you know, dad got killed by a quarter or a nickel, whatever the hell it was, then why didn't he eat the dad he'd already eaten? Or was he hungry? And then that gets me into a whole nother topic about creatures, which I think I want to talk deeply about how, when you guys acknowledge that this is a creature, when we know in the movie it's a creature, what does that mean then for the trajectory? Go ahead, Teach.
He definitely killed a black person because he killed OJ. He ate OJ.
Okay, and so there's the trick question. Do you guys agree that OJ is dead?
He is not dead.
Anybody else?
He is 1,000% dead.
I don't think he's dead.
Okay, anybody else?
Yeah, OJ's not dead.
Wasn't he on the horse at the end? I remember him being on the horse at the very end.
Yeah. He was sitting under a sign that said "Out Yonder," and he was literally covered by smoke, and he did not move at all. That was not that was an apparition. He was not. He is dead.
No, he's alive.
Okay. Yams Casino, what do you think? Yams Casino, my boy.
Whether I think he's dead or alive.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I don't know who just muted you. Be careful, co-host. Go ahead, Yams Casino.
Yes, I think it's one of those ambiguous endings. I think Jordan Peele is a film historian, so to leave it sort of open like that is up to our interpretation for us to sort of discuss it that way. I don't believe he's dead.
Okay, Jasmine?
He's very dead. He's
Why do you?
He didn't move. They didn't do like the finger in the eye thing, him and Kiki, and her face at the end is of anguish.
Okay, so I really, really enjoy this theory that OJ is dead. Here's why I think. In High Emotions, when y'all just finally captured the thing that you killed in the sky, I don't think I'm going to stop on a horse and do a pretty pose and just kind of, you know, wave my hair. I mean, maybe I would. Maybe I am that person that would. But I'm not just going to like do a beautiful pose under the Out Yonder sign perfectly and just let the dust collect around me and just kind of be this beautiful scene. I'm going to run up on you with that horse and be like, Kiki, are you okay? Oh my God, good job. Oh my goodness. Like, oh my God, did you get the fucking shot? Like, there would have been a conversation there, right? Like, this is a high energy, high emotion thing. So I love that theory that he's actually just dead and in a stupor and in all of those high emotions that Kiki was experiencing. You know, she had her whole motorcycle moment, which was fire. I love that they gave her that. If I ever get to be in a movie, I definitely want a little motorcycle scene for me. Thank you, pulling off. But that's what I think. I think I like the theory. I think it perfectly makes sense if you think about the alternative. Why was he just standing there like, yeah, good job, girl? Didn't even say nothing. Didn't give her the eye thing like Jasmine said. Dust collecting out yonder. There's just, Jordan Peele is obsessed with too much symbolism for it not to be a plausible theory. Renee, did we change your mind a lot on that, or do you have
No, I do think he left it intentionally ambiguous, sort of like it was left intentionally ambiguous in Inception, if Leo woke up or not, which I believe he woke up. I've went through multiple Reddit threads. I've been convinced that he is woken up. But I also think that OJ's character is also a man of very few words. So that's also part of why I'm kind of like inclined to be like, I mean, maybe he is the kind of person to just stand there and look.
Yeah, for sure. Teach?
I think we also have to remember that, of course, this movie is about spectacle and kind of human relationship to spectacle. And obviously, with Black people at the center of your film, with a Black filmmaker, people are already making allusions to how we treat violence of Black bodies and how that has become spectacle. So I think what he did was a really classy and really smart way of having his main character die, but not showing his main character die and leaving open that loop if somebody wants to walk away from the movie that OJ survived. But I think that he is 100% dead. But I like the fact that we didn't have to see OJ be eaten and in the entrails and in the esophagus and stuff. I like the way that he handled it. I thought it was a very smart idea given the themes of the movie.
Yeah, it was really cool that even though we know that Jean Jacket, was eating stuff and he got a little tummy ache, and let's get into what it means to have a creature that's alive, right? I think he got a little tummy ache, but I think it's cool that we never really saw a person of color and Black people. We only saw people of no color kind of get eaten up and maimed. Did you notice that in the film? So yes, they got eaten up, they got sucked up, but we never saw it on screen. That was not made us skeptical, our pain. Not sure if the TMZ guy was white or not, and I don't even know if the TMZ guy was a guy. It could have been any gender, I'm not sure. But we never saw the TMZ person's face. And I think that was intentional too, because it was like, it doesn't matter. This is what they do for a living. We're not going to like highlight who they are. We don't need to, they're TMZ. They didn't even hide behind that. It's fucking TMZ, and I hate TMZ, right? The movie was basically saying I hate TMZ because they are exactly what this film you always look at. We'll remove them. That was disrespectful. But let's talk about Jean Jacket as a villain. Y'all know I love a good villain. Is he a villain? Is it a villain? And let's talk about what it means when a villain is a creature, right? Because I think I was getting into some conversations, including the podcast last night, and I think people forget that creatures can get maimed. And I think they kept showing you that when they show that baby boy got a little tummy ache, or the thing got a little tummy ache when he ate that metal big-ass horse. So this thing feeds on horses and flesh and people, and spit out that whole horse, and because he got a tummy ache, and then he did the whole thing because as a result of getting a little tummy ache, he did the whole blood on the house, which is one of the most beautiful scenes in horror I've seen in a while. That is absolutely horrific without showing too much gore, but a ton of blood being, spat on a house by unidentified flying object. That's incredible. We've never seen that in film before, guys. Beautiful to witness. But did anybody kind of appreciate that? Like, this creature at some point is weakened. And so maybe at the end, the reason why he was defeated was because it was weakened. What do you think, Renee? Mess, go ahead. Renee, you first.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. So I don't think, if we look at the villain as somebody who moves the plot forward, sure, Jean Jacket moved the plot forward.
Right.
But Jean Jacket wasn't a villain in the sense that he had nefarious well, no, eating things up is nefarious, right?
Right.
But it was just a creature looking to feast, and somebody said, "Hey, I'm going to give you food." Kind of like, when you go to ponds, they're like, "Don't feed the ducks. Don't feed the squirrels. Don't feed the wildlife, because they will then, expect it, and then depending on the creature's natural instinct, they
Right.
might in turn look at it as prey." And I think, kind of like the rats of New York City, when they see all this trash on the sidewalk and they say, "We run this town." I think Jean Jacket said, "If there's a new sheriff in town." Also, side note, I wanted to say, I love that Jordan Peele had the fucking pig on top of the shared thing. I was like, "Yep, cops are pigs. Let's talk
Cops
about."
are pigs, period. I mean, the guy can't get over symbolism. He's going to have some symbolism in each of his films. And I definitely want to get into ranking eventually, too. Mess, go ahead.
Yeah. So the first thing is, if you notice, the white horse got eaten, but the black horse didn't get eaten, right? The black horse was smart enough to say,
Okay.
"Nope, I'm not coming outside. I'm staying in this little thing here."
Okay.
And no,
You know
um,
we minds our business, sweetie.
right. But I look at the creature differently. I think the creature,
Mhm.
like, so the creature consumed its food, and then it used the bathroom, right? Like, after we eat, what do? We
Right.
use the bathroom,
Thank
right?
you
And
for saying that. Right. Mm-hmm.
so that was so all. But again, the creature is very intentional, like, because it's like, yo, I just had dinner. It had the whole entire park, right? And that's probably the biggest meal it's had, right? Like, all those people, all those things. It was like, all right, I gotta get rid of this stuff, because it wasn't only just it was also like the seats, it was the metal, the plastic. So those things
It's like when you
cut
get
it up.
melon and you spit out the seeds. Mm-hmm.
Right. But those things cut it, like, those things
I'm
were
being
probably
pro.
cutting it up. But also, it's raining, because it was raining at the same time. But I also felt like it went over the house intentionally, because, like, yo, I know you're in the house. I know I'm gonna get you, but I want you to understand, like, I'm here, right? And so that to me was more, and kind of similar to what happened with the pops. I think that the creature was smart enough to it was smart enough to mimic a cloud, right? So it's sitting as a cloud, and I think that it was smart enough that it mimicked the behaviors of a cloud. So what does the cloud do? It drops water, drops moisture, liquid. So when it was
Mm.
excreting, it was just doing what it
Mm-hmm.
learned to do. But
Right.
but because it was, like, again, being cut up because of those, the plastic seats and all things, it turned out their quote unquote blood, but also the people's blood, right? Because, again, like, he just ate an entire section of people. So I don't think it
And
was
you're
about
led to believe in the film that he had maybe not done that before.
right.
He
I think
seemed
that
to
was
like be able to portion, he meal prepped, right?
right.
The baby
Yes.
meal prepped. And like, but this time they were upset because similar to how y'all get mad, when somebody give you an oatmeal raisin cookie instead of a chocolate chip, and you think it's a chocolate chip, you kind of get upset. You're like, what the hell is this? Me personally, I have taste. I like oatmeal raisin cookies over a chocolate chip. But like, that's essentially what happened with Jean Jacket. They were like, oh, you think you slick. You know this looked like a horse. It smelled like a horse. You know I was going to think this a horse. This not the horses that I've been eating. And so now I'm mad, right? Go ahead, Mess.
Yeah. So he's mad at them, but then he goes back and he remembers, like, yo, this place over here, I've been getting food at, and that
Right,
was Jupiter's Ranch, right? And that was the
right,
whole. So he goes, and but he comes early, right? He doesn't. He comes before the like Jupiter can let the horse out.
right,
But he doesn't. He's not conditioned to be like, oh, I'm just going to eat that one thing. He sees all this food. He's like, oh, oh, this is a
right.
buffet,
And I
right?
love
So
that.
let me
I'm
get
really glad
busy.
that we're having the conversation. It sounds like you're personifying, really. And I think that was the trajectory eventually that we were going to get on. Personifying Jean Jacket. Like, we're creatures too. What do? We eat, we use the bathroom, we have tummy aches sometimes, we throw stuff up. We don't want everything in our food that we eat out. We spit out the fish bones. We do kind of stuff. And that's what Jean Jacket was doing. Mess, sorry to interrupt you. Let me let some other folks speak, though, but thank you for speaking to that. Sherrod, welcome to the stage.
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. I got just a little bit of time. I got to get back to work. But this movie, like when I describe it to people, I say this is late class. It meets Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And it was more, it was more, like you said, it was more of a predator creature film to me.
It definitely is.
Than the Alien, like reminiscence of Jaws, Anaconda type thing.
Right.
And the spectacle is the main part of it, where it's like we can't control nature,
right?
And we really think we can. And Jupe was a lot like that was a lot like Betty White in Lake Placid, leading the horse out to the lake,
right?
Or the cows out to the lake. And I want y'all to get to the ranking because I have this movie second. I have Get Out first. And then I have Us last.
You have this movie first or second? I'm sorry.
I have this one second.
Okay. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and get into. I want y'all to sit with kind of, comments on if, how, when Jean Jacket is the villain, or what is the villain in this film. Y'all know how I am. Welcome to What We Watch. Hashtag any feelings that you have with What We Watch, and follow What We Watch Film TV at the top. But let's go ahead and talk about Jordan Peele as a filmmaker. We've got 3 films, right? Jordan Peele made an incredible debut, and with Get Out. Let's talk about Get Out for a little bit, because that obviously changed the game, and he really kind of put himself in his own category. While it's evident that he loves horror, that he's influenced by horror filmmakers like Steven Spielberg, especially with Nope, it really, Jordan Peele is in a league of his own, and just kind of allowing commentary. Like, he'll say it in films that he's like, it's whatever you want it to be. But like, we know that he is intentionally, but maybe in a much more lighthearted way, intentionally having some commentary. But he does leave us to go, to decide how far and how deeply we go into that commentary, right? So everybody knows and loves Get Out. I would love to hear if anybody didn't like Get Out, so please click on the heart with the plus sign and click the peace sign at the bottom if you did not like Get Out. I would love to hear someone that did not like Get Out. I will say, and words mean things, I will say I'm probably the person that likes Get Out the least in this room. I believe that there was a level of hype that all of you felt about that movie, and then I'm just under it. I loved it. I thought it was great. But the hype was like, okay, it wasn't that particularly like exciting to me, but it was a really extremely well-made movie. It was beautifully filmed. Michael Abels did a fantastic job. The instruments that and the kind of technology that Jordan Peele uses in his films to make things sound and feel scarier, phenomenal. Lakeith and Daniel Kaluuya, phenomenal. It just wasn't as like the hype that it was given. It wasn't there for me, but it was like just a notch below. So if you didn't like it, let me know, do a peace sign. But if you did love it, I get it. That's standard. So give me a hand clap if Get Out is number 1 for you, if that is your favorite Jordan Peele film. And Renee, co-host, feel free to jump in anytime. Okay. So I have someone that says no, it's not. Those of you in the audience, please clap if it is you're number 1. We're going to do a ranking like this, and then we'll let people talk. So we got quite a few people that have Get Out as number 1. Who has Nope as number 1? Go ahead and give me a clap. Who has Nope as number 1? We're going to get a poll on What We Watch as well. Okay, I got my gang. Some of my gang is here. Gang. We got Nope as number 1. And who has Us as number 1? Who has Us as the number 1 Jordan Peele film? Us. All right, I got Renee, I got Mumba, I got Mario. Okay. We got some Us truthers in here. I love that. Okay. Shout out to Jordan Peele. That's very inspiring to me as a horror filmmaker. Very inspiring. So, talk to me a little bit. Anthony, welcome to the stage. And Mazel Tov, welcome to the stage. Talk to me a little bit about the Anthony. I forget. Did you clap for Get Out? I think you clapped for Get Out.
I did. I clapped
Yeah.
for Get Out, and I have like a non-controversial take that even if like Get Out isn't your favorite of the bunch, like personally, you
Right.
kind of have to put it number one. And to Jordan Peele's detriment, maybe even at times, I just don't think anything will live up to that hype. And I think it's also a matter of like timing. It came kind of at a perfect time in the country and the culture and the impact that it had and all that. Like everybody knows that. So I think you got to put it number one because it just kind of changed everything. It changed horror since then, social commentary and movies, not necessarily changing it, but it was so groundbreaking and of the moment and hit the conversations and stuff. And I do think he's been trying, maybe not to his own, but he's been trying to live up to that, or his movies are always kind of based off what that cultural impact of Get Out. And Us, next to it, one of the greatest trailer reveals I've ever seen in history. It came during the Warriors-Lakers game on Christmas the year before. I'll never forget it. We were in a house, everybody's around, people put their food down, the I Got Five on It hits, and people are just like, what the fuck is that? And yeah, it was. And I don't think that movie, I loved what it was trying to do, but I can almost see it was so intellectual and he was trying to weave so many different concepts. I don't know if it quite landed. It still has my favorite kind of image of all of his movies, and that's at the very end, spoiler alert, the Hands Across America, where the son looks at his mom and you don't know which one's the real son, which one's the fake mom, or vice versa.
Scott, and I did love, because Act 3 kind of got a little shaky for me. But there was a point at the end where I was like, okay, I kind of respect this. Yeah.
So what makes Nope higher than Us for me, so I have Nope 2 and then Us, is I love listening to people talk about shit that they like, and there's so many great nuanced conversations about what this means and Nope and things. I actually really enjoyed how unintellectual it is. My reading was, I got it more as like a hangout movie, where it's not fully explained like Us or even some concepts of Get Out, and you don't know the motivations behind Jean Jacket and all of that. You're just kind of with the family. I love the IT guy coming up in the mix. He should have brought what's her name from Euphoria and Barbie. That would have been a great foursome to get him, but they bring in the cinematographer dude, and that dynamic I was there for. I love the Jupe backstory, and I kind of saw it as more of like human nature type of thing and going up against human nature and why some people don't or have a lack of curiosity about what's in the sky. And I like how the family, they see this, it's kind of dark, but they see the creature as a lick, you know, something to get money up on from, the thing that killed their dad. And I think it just works as that, and it's funny, and you can add a whole bunch of stuff to it, but it kind of reminds me of Signs.
Here's what Barbie wasn't it, because you know what, again, the theme of the movie, I'm trying to tell y'all, that's the biggest theme. We can go as deep as we want, but really it's just, why is you over me like that? Mind your damn business. Barbie didn't go over there because Barbie minded her business. Did you notice her coworker, she was kind of like curious at first, and then she saw how involved he was with whatever he was doing. She was like, you know what, let me go eat my. She was good. She was like, you know what, I'm gonna mind my business. That's why she didn't get caught into any of their shit. She did not have no stress. She was working at Fry's, minding her business.
And it attracted the IT guy. You saw his spot. Like, he lives, you know, in a studio bedroom situation. He doesn't have anything going for him as well. So I think he also saw this group as some type of family that he can kind of glom onto. And I was going to say, it reminds me a lot of Signs, where they put this mechanism of these aliens in the sky, but it's really a story about family and the family that you create and loss and all of that. And those are the themes of Nope. It's about the loss of the dad, what he left behind, this business, this company, and Daniel Kaluuya and Kiki trying to find some way to hold on to that and come together. And it really, this creature in the sky brings them together type of narrative. And that, I really enjoyed it for just kind of on that simple base level.
Yeah. And, you know, I want to go around the room. Thank you. And again, creature film. I hope we like kind of understand what we're saying when we say that in the room and the genre. The Jaws, a lesser known movie that's a creature film. It's absolutely fucking phenomenal, and will have you like squeezing your seat. I don't know about y'all. I was squeezing my seat during Nope a couple times, especially that barn scene with the aliens. I said, hell no. I said, nope, nope, nope. That whole scene, I was like squeezing my seat. I said, no, what the fuck is going on in this barn? But there's a movie called Crawl, which is by the same guy that created High Tension, and just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful fucking movie, creature movie. So let's go around the room and start with my host. If you have any other comments, but my co-host Renee, what is like a creature movie that you enjoy? Because if you know anything about me, first of all, I love me a villain. I don't know if Jean Jack is a villain. That's a conversation I'm very interested in. But I love me a shark movie. If there is a shark movie that exists, I have seen it. Okay, there's probably like 1 or 2 movies that people have brought up that I haven't watched yet, and I will. But I love a creature film. I love a creature feature. So, Renee, what creature feature do you like?
Okay, I like 2. They're very corny. It's My Truth. Anaconda. That's My Truth.
Okay, quite honestly.
And also Deep Blue Sea, also My Truth.
Okay, banger. Okay, that's called Chase. That's called
my truth. And then also I want to refrain, I want to rescind my earlier comment when I called Jean Jacket a villain. He is not a villain. He is an antagonist.
Yes, that's correct. We were going to get there. Yeah. I mean, honestly, obviously eating and killing multiple people at a time is villainous, right? And obviously Jean Jacket drove the plot forward, which we've talked about in What We Watch Space Before. Shout out to you for recognizing that, is a villain in that case. But honestly, am I a villain when I go and I decide that I'm going to camp somewhere and get some food that is nourishing to my, body, and use the bathroom occasionally, and get mad because people are always looking at me? Are y'all going to make me a villain for that?
But deeper than, if also the metaphor, because the monkey Cordy is, if Jean Jacket is a villain, then Cordy, who killed up everybody because they didn't respect his autonomy and was trying to have him perform, and did not care about his stimuli,
right?
He's a villain. And then also Lucky, when you
kicked the sandbag. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, OJ was like, yo, don't stand behind Lucky. And then Lucky kills the sandbag, and instead of saying, wow, we made a mistake and did not, they said, we got to fire you. We got to get rid of you.
Yep. The creature only eats you if you look at it. I mean, big mood, honestly. If you don't look at me, well, no problems. We're good, bro. You good. Just mind your business. But if you look at me, we might have some problems. I relate, Jean Jacket. Can relate. Jasmine, what's your favorite creature feature film?
Okay, so Renee, I did like Deep Blue Sea, but also hopefully this is a somewhat safe space.
Not really, but go ahead.
Okay. I liked Snakes on a Plane.
Okay, no. Snakes on a Plane is fire.
Okay, let's go.
We Yams Casino.
First of all, I wasn't expecting Anaconda when you asked that question. But you can totally see the strings on the snake. But anyway, my favorite creature film at the moment would probably be The Descent.
Okay.
And The Descent 2. Also, Attack the Block. I enjoyed that movie a lot.
I don't think I've seen that. Have I seen Attack the Block?
John Boyega.
I don't think I've seen it. I don't think I've watched that.
It's a good movie. Check it.
Henry, welcome to the stage. Talk to me, creature feature.
I'm going Predator, 1987. Arnold Schwarzenegger, classic cheesy ass 80s movie. That's my creature feature.
Hi, creature. Hi, baby boy. Welcome to What We Watch. That's his dog, Rocky. Hi, Rocky. Hi, Rocky Pox. Mess, go ahead.
The Shape of Water.
Okay. Mess, I fucks with you. Okay, I fucks with you heavy.
Boo.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was a dope ass movie.
Clap if you've in the audience and if you've seen, as we're going through these creature features. Tell me, clap if you like them. And peace sign if you don't. Those of you in the audience, please feel free to tap in. Mess, love you for that. Shape of Water, a pure banger. But clap if you loved it, and peace sign if you did not. Of those of you in the audience, go ahead, Mess.
And aliens.
Yeah.
The xenomorph. Yeah.
Pretty cool. Sherrod.
Anaconda. I gotta put it, but a fun one for me is if you want to go back to '80s, Cujo.
Okay, purr. Taste.
Not Cujo the dog being a creature.
Well.
Oh, it was. He was running through cars and everything.
You know what? It's beautiful. Thank you for bringing up that a creature does not always have to be like the issue in the film. Mazel tov.
I like E.T., I guess, if that's
period. Okay.
A feature film.
Yeah. Another great example. Any other ones? You can throw in a couple more if you like.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I like Skyline. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's like this like alien movie where like they invade like Earth. It's like really cheesy and horrible, but I like bad films. It's like a niche of mine. It's weird. I really love that film, I would say.
Okay, nice. I haven't heard of these. I'm gonna have to watch some creature features because I'm gonna give y'all my list after this. Big Thigh Gemini.
Yeah. Number one is John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yes, taste.
Train to Busan. If we're counting zombies as
kind of a spoiler, but yes.
Attack the Block. Amazing movie.
Okay, I need to watch Attack the Block. There's 2 people already. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, and I never really thought of Shape of Water as a creature feature, but I do absolutely love that movie.
It's absolutely a creature feature, but you're right, kind of like the cadence and like the way they reveal it eventually. But it's absolutely a creature feature.
And since we're talking about his movies, Pan's Labyrinth is
absolutely a multiple creature feature.
Yes.
We get lots of creatures. Anthony?
Yeah, somebody said Alien. I just want to throw in Prometheus into the mix, like further down in that chronological that order of movies, but I really fuck with that movie. Absolutely. And then underrated pick, not sure if people have seen it, it's kind of a cult classic now, the Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight with Jada Pinkett and Billy Zane from the 90s.
Are you kidding me? A banger.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, come on, taste in this room. What we watch, always with taste. Mamba Mentality.
I got 2. I got Anaconda. I'll never forget that Ice Cube. They got snakes out there this big. Like, that's one of my favorite movie quotes. And the other one, Tremors. I saw Tremors like 10 years ago. It's a really old movie with Kevin Bacon. I think Reba.
I've heard of that, and I haven't watched it yet. What year did it come out? Is that a 90s movie or early 2000s?
I think it was like either like early 90s or maybe late 80s. It's a really old movie.
Okay, so
I saw it like 10 years ago.
They used to do horror really well back in the day, and they still do. But I like that. Scam Likely.
Yeah, so it's a creature feature. I don't know if it's really one, but it's kind of almost campy like, but Arachnophobia from the 90s. I think it actually came out in 1990. And then A Quiet Place, the first one.
There we go. I'm in there. We together. I was like, does nobody remember the beautiful movie A Quiet Place? The most beautiful film. Again, I've said this many times. If you missed that experience in theaters, you missed out. I'm so sorry. Big L on that part. And Tej, I think you kind of jumped out and jumped back in. Creature feature.
I'm going to go with Crawl. Nothing has quite made me feel the way that movie made me feel, so I'm going to go with Crawl.
Yeah. Shook. We were shook. So I highly recommend Crawl to everyone in the room. What we watch, you're always going to get some information that you didn't know, some theories and perspectives on culture and filmmaking. but also some great recommendations. I promise you, Crawl, for whatever reason, is insane. Will have you glued to your seat, shook at these alligators and crocodiles or whatever the hell it was. Okay, I'm telling you, the poster. If you look at the poster, you would never even think twice about watching this movie. Watch it. Crawl 2019. It came out in 2019. High Tension is also a beautiful movie. That movie is I think in the 80s or early 90s. High Tension is actually absolutely terrifying.
Also kind of a creature feature in its own way.
Yes. So let me say some, names that maybe we didn't remember, or maybe we didn't like. I like that somebody said the Descent. We got A Quiet Place. Love that. Me personally, did anybody like King Kong or the Godzilla movies? You got A Monster Calls. You got the Gremlins. You got the Babadook. Did y'all love the Babadook? Very terrifying. You got Jurassic motherfucking Park. Okay. Talk to Jurassic Park and all 15,000 movies. Very nice. You of course have Jaws. You have Predator. I think somebody did say Predator. Arachnophobia. Little Shop of Horrors. Did anyone think of that? Yeah, there we go. Okay, we got some claps for that. Cool. And then The Host, a beautiful, beautiful movie. What else? Any other kind of creature films that people didn't talk about? I see.
We should have said Jaws. We should have had some respect on Jaws.
Jaws, iconic. And honestly, I don't know if y'all have seen this movie, but I love it. It's called Nope. That just moved to my top 5. For real. It's called Nope. I don't know if you've seen it. You should watch it. It's by Jordan Peele. It came out a few weeks ago.
Have you heard of Malignant?
Oh my God, I love Malignant.
Yeah, that's another one. I love that movie. It's a very good movie.
Okay, so who watched Malignant and who didn't like it? Because I think a lot of people didn't like Malignant. That came out last year. Let me rotate some people in. Renee, can you help me rotate some people in? I think Jiraiya wants to come up. Malignant is a great, great movie. What are some TV shows that, and we'll probably table that question, but there's a lot of creature feature films work, but sometimes when you have creatures in TV shows, it's hard to keep people committed, right? But let's get into JP as a filmmaker. So we have Get Out first for a lot of people. Who else has Get Out first on their list? I want to hear from you on your kind of tiering of the 3 films. Talk to me. Yams Casino, go ahead.
I mean, it's really hard to top Get Out. It's probably he's had his whole life to make that movie, so it's really him trying to outdo that one. I do think Nope is 1B. I really enjoyed Nope.
There we go.
It might change, but to me, it's still Get Out.
Okay. And how many times have you watched Nope?
I made the mistake of forgetting who Jordan Peele was, and that he makes every scene with symbolism. So I went in there just thinking oh, this is a UFO movie,
Gotcha.
Okay. And I didn't get a chance to watch it again before the space started.
Okay, got it. Jiraiya, welcome to the stage. Welcome to What We Watch. Give me a favorite feature creature film in your rankings of Jordan Peele's movies.
Hi, thank you for having me. So I would say my favorite, well, not my favorite, but I highly recommend this one is just King Kong Skull Island. I really liked that one. And then, I would say, of course, Get Out for Nope. It's really hard to top Get Out. But yeah, Nope.
And then Us.
Yeah. Well, I want to. So is Candyman? Did he not direct Candyman or?
No, and don't disrespect the Nia DaCosta. She directed Candyman.
Oh. Okay.
As the first Black woman to create an independent film and make the money that she did in the box office.
Okay. No.
I think he produced it though. That's probably where the confusion is.
Yeah.
Okay.
But directing is a huge thing. We definitely want to give that to Nia DaCosta. Producing is putting money behind it.
Okay.
Yeah. But nice. So Henry, you chatting. And I want to let the us truther speak. Renee, are you a us for number one?
Yes,
Or,
I am. Yes, I am.
I have to hear this. Henry, go ahead. What's your ranking?
I got Get Out 1, Nope 2, Us 3. I haven't seen Us since the first time I seen it, so I might need to watch it again to reevaluate, but I got it 3 right now.
Is that rewatchable? I'm going to let Renee take that away. Go ahead, Renee. Talk to us about how Us is number one.
Yeah, so first of all, Us was actually terrifying. The music, the score, it was genuinely terrifying. I did not, and I don't like watching horror movies because I have anxiety. That is not good for me. The mirror scenes, the the mirror scenes, the twins. Oh my God, when they were like walking to kill the family in backwards in a back bend. Oh my God, that was a terrifying scene. I liked the idea and that what separates us from other people is the opportunities that we have. And I like the idea that we all have a tether, that somebody who could like, or we could be the tether, right? For somebody else. I liked that because I think it's important for in a lot of ways, all of us opt into classism. And I liked that movie showed that there are other people who, if they are given the opportunity to bloom, they will.
Bars. And I think I really, really appreciate that because the conversation around that, I think you call yourself Renee's Tethered too.
Yes,
so
actually.
obviously that's one of your favorite films of Jordan Peele. But I love that kind of conversation around Us. This concept of the tethered was something that many people that watched that movie had never heard of before. But Jordan Peele actually pulled an amalgamation of concepts between a lot of horror films. And I encourage you to go and look on YouTube or online and type in horror films that influenced us. And there's a ton of beautiful, beautiful horror movies. They're very old, but they're very, very good. And like the concepts of like bunnies and the color red and scissors and just like invasion of homes, like all of those concepts he pulled together into one movie and was like, what if there is a better version of you below the ground? But what does that mean? Like, what does it mean if there's a better version? Is it like you were saying, Renee, it's like opportunity. What if there's a worse version of you underground? What if you're the worst version? Or if you were underground, would you become the worst version of yourself? And how terrifying would that be to meet the version of you that did not get to grow? That shit's fire. Like just the concept alone and making people have that conversation about tethered is amazing. And then to make it a larger conversation about like, see how America treats people, right? But go ahead, Renee.
Also, not to mention, there's like a little bit of like Carl Jungian like psychoanalysis when it comes to shadow self.
Yep, and you're tethered being that. So definitely, I appreciate the us truthers. Anybody else have us as number one? I know a lot of us agree that the kind of third act was like, all right, guys, what's going on? But the sound, I mean, I Got Five on It, making that a horror song. I mean, classic, iconic, amazing. Jasmine, what kind of ranking do you have?
Us is last. The best part about Us is probably I Got Five on It. Like it's an okay movie, but it's third. Nope is second. Get Out is number one. Get Out had everything. Like you and Renee love movies that make you go, It's one of those. It's a little bit scary, but not too much for like people who don't like horror, and it has comedic relief.
Just like every Jordan Peele film. And I think it's interesting. First of all, I love that Jordan Peele, like my horror agenda is clear at this time. Like that's all I want you guys to do is watch horror. A lot of filmmakers enter the world making horror films just because it follows this beautiful like formula of filmmaking. And it just incorporates the currency of sound and everything. And it lets actors do their thing. And it's just so fun to make. And so like you're almost guaranteed to make your audience feel things. But on that note, right, let's get into how Nope, like kind of in a way detests viewers and detests audience and kind of shuns them and like in a sense drags them like, hey, why is everything a fucking, thing for you to consume? Why is everything about exploitation? Why can't y'all let people and or things and or animals, creatures be? Why, and I love the way he tied it in, because like I remember the craze or whatever phase of the craze it was, where it's like, I got to capture this UFO. And I remember all the weak ass photos everybody got of UFOs. I remember all the weak ass Photoshop of all the UFOs that people got. I remember when the government was making comments on UFOs, and he took that extreme pop cultural like understanding and trope and was like, what if the things that are being captured in the sky was like, hold on, why is you all up in my damn business all the time? Why are you always filming me? But this film was also an ode to filmmaking. It was a beautiful, like, especially with having the guy, I forget what his name is, the Clint Eastwood head ass dude. He was my least favorite character, I'm not gonna lie to you. That brought the, mechanical film, like the beauty and like just kind of protecting and I guess the restoration or the appreciation for like how movies started. Remember, Haywood Horses was created because, did you know, the first motion picture was of a black man on a horse, and multiple pictures, like, this was an ode to filmmaking. So it was about, I think in my case, what Jordan Peele so beautifully like put into like just this fun thing and was like, y'all can take whatever, is that the beauty in filmmaking is kind of made horrifying when it's a commodity, and the business part of it and the fame part of it and the spectacle part of it, right? And it's kind of what you hear me talking about all the time. The beauty in filmmaking is so beautiful. It's an art. It's gorgeous. The creature's mouth, Jean Jacket's mouth, looks like an old camera, the same camera that the dude had. The mouth, it was just like a camera that flashes. And it was just like, this whole movie was like, the art of filmmaking is beautiful and we should enjoy it and we should embrace it. And capturing things on film, there's an art to it, there's history to it. But like when you add in the Hollywood aspect of it, when you add in the TMZ aspect of it, when you add in the paparazzi, the fame, the money, the exploitation, it's not as pretty. And you might get eaten up and your blood might end up on somebody's house. But does anyone kind of agree with that? Do you kind of see where I'm coming with that? Geraldo, welcome to the stage. Yams Casino, I see you. Thank you for the claps. Geraldo, how do you feel?
Hi, I'm not sure. I just got in. I'm not sure how long you guys have been talking for.
But yeah, well, you requested to come on up. Come on up, baby. What's going on? Talk to me about it.
I watched the movie. I thought it was really good. There were parts when like it was a good time at the movies. When you go to the movies, you just want to have a good time. And I thought it was. Some of my friends didn't like it, and it's kind of like weird being like I studied film in college, so it was like weird when like I would know things that were gonna happen in the movie, like when Keke Palmer took the picture of the alien using like the well. I was like, that's good screenplay writing, right? You introduce the well at the beginning, you bring it in at the end.
Nobody writes a movie like Jordan Peele. I'm telling you guys, that's something I want to talk about too. Each reveal in this movie had a closed loop. And what that is attributed to is fucking fantastic screenwriting. Okay. Everything that was presented was closed, and you actually like found the meaning in the end. Even the winking well, which seemed like a one-off thing where she was like, oops, I'm so sorry. Just to those two random boys. We probably can't even remember what them little boys looked like, even if they were boys, I don't even remember. But those two little kids playing with the winking well, she's like, oops, I'm sorry, my bad, just photobombed you. And then she goes on. But then that becomes like one of the most important things at the end of the film. So yes, thank you, Geraldo. That's beautiful screenwriting. Go ahead, Geraldo.
Yeah, I enjoyed the callbacks, right? Like I enjoyed the shoe. I'm not sure if like they were tweeting about it a couple days ago, but like that scene where like Gordy goes nuts, where you like the camera pans across like the fake plants and stuff like that, and you get a shot of like the cameras like those big film cameras, and people compared them to what the aliens look like in like the new attraction.
Yep.
For that guy, I forget his character's name. He was played by Steven Yeun.
Yep. It was that Jew.
But even like the callback stuff, like it was all just very. You could tell like this was all very well thought out.
It
and
really
that's what
was.
I appreciate. That's what I ask of any film, right? When I watch it, to be just well thought out, right? It doesn't have to be like the greatest thing ever.
The last time I so deeply appreciated such a chaotic, horrific film, just touching back on everything that you saw on screen, every shot was accounted for, and that's due to the writing, is Everything Everywhere All at Once. Every single thing that they brought up, from the damn, trophies for the tax person becoming anal plugs later. I mean, that is absolutely chaotic and insane. But everything mattered, and everything was brought into the plot as something to make you feel. And Nope definitely did that. But I love the reveals. I guess I went in just kind of knowing how Jordan makes films, and I was like, okay, I know some shit. And I just didn't even want to like find anything out. I really wanted to be on the journey with this movie. Like, I'm like, whatever you say, I'm gonna be completely shocked. I'm good with it, that kind of thing. Renee, you talked earlier about something, and I wanted to talk about it, and it just slipped my mind. But you were talking about I forget what it was. You had brought up something, and I wanted to go back to it. But Jasmine, go ahead. I see your hand.
Oh, can we talk about like how the guy from Fries, Angel, he may not have been like a real person?
Okay, how many Reddit threads have you been on?
Just one, but I promise, like, it makes sense. Like, what if he actually is an angel? Am I getting too deep? Okay, feel free to stop me. But his name is Angel, right? He helps them with the cameras to essentially like watch over them. He offers them a safe haven of sorts with his apartment. Once again, his name is Angel.
Wow.
And he's wearing a shirt at one point. And the shirt says Earth, and it's like a picture of like the cosmos. And he almost dies, but doesn't.
And so it's interesting, right? Because that goes with the theory of like OJ being dead. So clearly these motherfuckers be hallucinating. And when you out in the desert without water, you do be hallucinating and stuff. And they on like a little desert ranch. That being said, I would have to go and watch again because this is on some Sixth Sense M. Night Shyamalan stuff. That's my God. I don't care. The Village was a good movie. That's for a separate space. But maybe this is on some M. Night Sixth Sense where it's like, do you go back and did no one else see this man? I think Barbie saw him. But did no one else?
Barbie definitely saw him.
Yeah. Did no one else see this man except for Jordan? I mean, I'm sorry. Except for OJ and Emerald. So I don't know.
Barbie saw them.
What'd you say, Mazel Tov?
Barbie saw them.
Barbie saw him. I'm pretty sure Barbie came to him and then went and minded
the other dude did too, for sure.
And the alien.
Antlers.
Who saw him? Henry?
Antlers, the cinematographer dude.
The cinematographer dude. Yeah, he probably in a daze too, though. We can't. He's a very unreliable narrator.
Jupe saw him, and also the alien saw him.
But just because you see angels, don't mean they're not angels.
All right, bro.
Look at Charlie's.
I mean, there's a theory that honestly, the jean jacket is an angel because the way that he looked, apparently, like I have to remember what like the biblical description of an angel is, because like people say if an angel came up to you, you would actually be scared.
So definitely, yeah, y'all getting real deep into your Reddit Discord bags, which I appreciate. Definitely the biblical representation of an angel with jean jacket looks like when he was killed at the end. That's what a biblical angel supposedly looks like. I'm okay with that because he's supposed to be out of this world, or we keep saying he. I don't know if that's problematic or accurate or both. Sometimes both things can be true. You said what, Renee?
Let's just refer to jean jacket as they, non-binary.
As they. Yes, non-binary. We're not going to assume gender. It's very problematic. But see, let me throw in my theory, if I may. There was something to me about the timeline of this movie that I could not just like, it was bothering me. I don't know. Maybe it's because when I'm writing, I'm like, I need to know the time. I get so confused when I'm watching a TV show or movie and I don't know like when it's happening and in what order. I get very bothered by it. And the only time reference that I kept getting was like 6 months. 6 months since dad died. 6 months since dad died. And I'm like, is dad Jean Jacket? And I'm like, no, he wouldn't be Jean Jacket. So that's my little Reddit theory. I'll start a whole little thread on that. I'm like, do we need to explore that maybe dad is looking over his ranch? Or maybe, I don't know. I don't understand because I know dad died, but they didn't really show why he died. I thought he kind of survived the nickel, or maybe he didn't. I think it was lodged in his head, so maybe he died at that point. And that wasn't Jean Jacket eating him. That was when Jean Jacket was spitting out the watermelon seeds. So I don't know, but it's not a theory that I'm set on. It was just definitely a thought that just like very ephemeral thought that like went through my mind. I was like, when did Jean Jacket decide to start like hiding in a cloud on this ranch? Why? You start asking those questions. You're like, wait a minute. Mamba mentality.
Just a quick question. Does anybody know what the dad was saying when he was like driving him to the hospital? He was mumbling something in the seat, but I could not make out what he was saying.
That's probably something. I think purposely we were like only getting like certain words. Hidalgo, do you remember?
I think it was like he was saying like major cities. Like he was like counting off all the major cities to make sure like he was there mentally, so he wouldn't like leave yet. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's a standard when you like have a concussion or something, right? You're supposed to like have to say like normal things. Is that what that was? Like a medical thing?
I think it would have been like it would have played better in the movie if he was counting off all the names of the horses.
Yeah, that would have been nice too. But yeah, the timing was just weird. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, okay. So I thought it was so cool. The reveals to me in this film were so amazing. I don't know about y'all, and I'm heavy into film, but I was like, oh, damn, that cloud didn't move. I was obsessed with it. I was like, oh my God. The angel had to come in and be like, look, this cloud doesn't move. It's something in that cloud. And I think to the potion, I'm like, there was a cloud with some flags hanging off. This is why I don't watch trailers. I don't want to know too much. I was just very, very excited about that. Big Thigh Gemini.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up something that you brought up in the podcast, and I was like, yes, somebody finally brought it up.
Oh, I got you. What I say, girl? I forgot.
Sound. And I want to talk about the sound in the film and the lack of sound in one particular scene. And so
the Gordy scene? The Gordy scene?
No, not the Gordy scene. The scene where the kids were playing the prank on OJ in the stable. And the one just popped his head out. I'm getting shit. Like the whole theater. Like you could just hear people like, no. So, this is right before he says nope. So I think that would have been I'm glad there was no sound in that. I just thought about that because that could have been a cheap jump scare thing. Exactly. But it wasn't. And the sound of the people screaming and the horses.
I tell you what.
Like, let me tell you, like,
no. I said
when something scary happens, in a movie, I can either turn away or close my eyes. You don't have to see it. But with those people screaming when they were getting eaten, you couldn't just close your ears and not like, will always, oh my God, that is, that's the stuff nightmares are made of. It's just the sound.
It's why I'm absolutely obsessed with horror. You can type in my app plus sound and you'll just see me just salivating damn near over the sexual tension between me and sound and horror. Honestly, it is so amazing how sound can elicit all of these responses between us, right? And also when I say sound, I mean lack of sound, like you're talking about, to your point. The Gordy scene, the Gordy scene. Did you not feel like you were in there as little baby Steven? Y'all, I was like, oh my God, please don't come over here, Gordy. I'm like, Monique, you're in a theater. Relax. But I'm like, Gordy, please don't come over here because I'm shook. Like, The
Because
way
there was one time when he looks directly at the camera, and I'm like, you know what? I'm already scared shitless.
I'm like, get off of this film set, and then I'm like, Monique, you're in a chair at home at the theater. You're good. Let's talk about the jump scare though, and how Jordan Peele made what is usually a cheap jump scare into a very, very horrifying moment. And clap if you agree. Did anyone think that those were fake aliens in that barn? People in suits. You had no fucking clue. We were all shook. At Jordan or Daniel Kaluuya was us. Jordan Peele understands black people, okay? He was like, nope, no. But you see how he still had to capture it on film, which is that, again, that obsession, that commentary on like, damn, we got to get everything on camera. You can't just live your life. We got to catch everything on camera. But then again, it's like, I do love capturing things on camera and making films and all that kind of stuff. So it was a beautiful balance. But I tell you, when I felt silly and there was like a unison sigh, like a sigh in unison in the theater when they took off that mask. Because when he slapped the alien, or the person in the alien suit, we all kind of laughed, and then we were like, whew, okay. Because what the fuck? And that was just like, nothing was happening. That was not even the point of the film. He was just fucking with us. And I know he had a great time writing that scene. He had to have. But using people's screams, generally speaking in horror, if you think back, you know, excuse me, why people are screaming. And Jordan just flipped it on his head and was like, what if you just hear screaming and you don't know why? Isn't that a little bit scarier? If you hear multiple people screaming, like for instance in Dark Knight Rises, you hear a lot of people screaming in the stadium when Bane blows it up, but you know why they're screaming, because there's a fucking explosion, you know? But Jordan said, what if you hear people screaming and you don't know why? That might fuck you up even more. You sitting in your house and you start hearing screaming and you're like, what the fuck? Should I be scared? But then like nothing's happening to you. That's arguably more terrifying because you have no control now. Where are these painful screeches coming from? You look up, you're like, there's nothing in the sky because it sounds like it's in the sky. What is it? So I thought that was absolutely fantastic sound design. I mean, I am obsessed, really. And Jordan Peele, fun fact, Jordan Peele uses I guess it's technically an instrument. But it uses radio frequency. It uses RF to create the sound. It's called a theremin. And I actually have a guy that's studying to play the theremin. But Jordan Peele uses the theremin in a lot of his films, and I encourage you to go watch a YouTube video on the theremin. It's absolutely terrifying. It makes all this, and once you hear it, you're like, that's Jordan Peele. Got it. So it's very, very cool. Theremin. Mess, go ahead.
Yeah, just a quick commentary on that scene. Like, so you know how, as black people, like we would just run from that shit. Like we'd be like, "Oh nah, I'm out." But white people would go towards the camera, right? They would go towards it, right? They would take out the camera. And this is like the typical horror trope. And so he showed us, like, literally, all right, if you do what they do, then they're going to get you. And obviously, the kids are playing. But like once OJ pulled out his camera, he shifted over to being not with us, with
Exactly.
them. And I found that interesting, right? So like
shift, yeah.
Right. So then, and he got right. It was like, oh fuck, y'all got me. All right, whatever. Because normally you'd be like, yo, that light went off the first time, and it came back on. Like, nah, I'm going to get a gun. I'm going to the house. I'm going to get the shotgun. I'm not coming back. I'm not playing with y'all.
It reminds me of, again, black response to like scares. And it reminds me in Get Out when he saw that dude running to him. Remember in Get Out when he saw dude, he kind of froze up. He was like, shit. Usually,
like, what's going on?
A lot of these situations you run, but sometimes your flight kind of freezes up and you're like, shit. All right, what do I do in this situation? And it's like, do I run away? Because like, why didn't he run away? He was just like shook. And in the same, I think I find it in there with like him seeing the aliens. He was like, wait, okay, I see an alien there. I'm absolutely terrified. I'm gonna walk away slowly and take a long time. And then like he pulls out the camera to again just keep the theme of the film, right? Which is why we got to catch everything on camera, why we got to exploit everything that we see and experience, right? And y'all know we're in social media. It didn't happen if you didn't post it on Twitter, right? It didn't happen if it wasn't on Instagram. And, you know, there's been ways that we've kind of, I don't know if I want to say like commodified that. And it's like, you know, there's money to be made now. You got to catch shit on film, right? They're talking about, you know, this ranch is not going to support us for the rest of our lives. We need money. So let's catch this UFO that's like wreaking havoc on our lives. And let's at least like be able to use that money to go somewhere else and do other things. Renee, go ahead.
So I did want to say that I did notice this. I feel like Jordan Peele likes anime because the slide on the bike did remind me a little bit of Akira. And then I didn't know what about that angel reminded me of an anime, but I was like Googling. It reminded me of Neo Genesis Evangelion, where there's actual angels in it. I've been like meaning to watch it. It's like one of those like very meta, like mecha sort of like animes. It's like old school. And honestly, I'm kind of like a fake as hell anime fan that I haven't watched it yet. It's like one of those animes that like if you like say that you live and die anime, like you watch it. So I respect it though. So
For sure, for sure.
yeah, but I did want to say, and maybe this was the point that I brought up about like consumption. I noticed that he consumed organic things and did not like inorganic products.
Okay,
Inorganic things.
Whole Foods. He like Whole Foods. Gene Jacket like Whole Foods.
Right. And I that's like, you know, when I thought about like like
Yes.
how we're consumed, I thought about how we, you know, like first of all, his like when you finally got to see his face / mouth, it one reminded me of a camera, like those old school camera things, and then like two, like the green color, it reminded me of the green screen of film. He was definitely playing with colors there, but I it kind of makes me think about like social media, right? Like, and I was like talking to somebody about this like a month ago about, do you like remember on Instagram, like we used to just like post our food and be like sushi, or we would post like the sky and be like, we like the sky. And now it has to be like a whole rigmarole of like, I'm thinking of the caption, like, and I'm guilty of this, right? I'm thinking of the best pose. I'm making sure I'm taking all these sort of photos, and we notice that the photos that get the most engagement, the most consumption, the most likes, are the photos that are just of us, where we are opting into being the spectacle.
Mm-hmm.
Versus when we center other things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you know, yeah, exactly. I was saying earlier that this is an ode to filmmaking, and that like, yes, definitely Jean Jacket, the spectacle of the film, #spectacle. Drink every time you hear the term spectacle. That's what we're doing on the podcast last night. I try not to say it, but I know that that's the language for the film right now. But yeah, the mouth was absolutely /stomach /face /whatever was absolutely like those old mechanical film cameras, which showed you in the film when what's his face? I don't even remember that guy's name. He was such an odd part of that movie. I don't know that I loved him in this movie, to be honest with you. But when he pulls up his mechanical film in order to get that, because right, and another point that you know Renee is bringing up, just about like just the condition of humankind and social media and consumption, it's our dependence on electricity. And I think it's really cool that, you know, Jordan Peele took it a step further and said, yeah, nigga, no, you not gonna have no electricity when I'm around. Now what? Your Wi-Fi done. Your camera, you're done. Your phone, done. You can't talk to nobody. You are disconnected. You better sit out there and mingle with each other and make camaraderie and make your relationships work face to motherfucking face, because there is no electricity here, sweetie. And I love that they use the colorful balloons to indicate. That was like some engineering right there. So I had to like get in my bag there. I was like, that's some engineering right there. Like, how do we determine the power of this creature based on distance and based on effects of electricity? I was like, come on, do it for me. And so they used those like beautiful, like, and which had like a horror element too, because those balloons are, you know, if you see them in real life, they're kind of like weird. They're kind of jarring is what the term I would use. And so to use that kind of jarring element and to like indicate the closeness. Oh, there goes Jean Jacket. So that was really, really cool. Jake, welcome to the stage. What's up?
Thank you. Sorry I was late. I had a lot to do, but obviously I'll do it. I just had to come because I love this movie and I love these spaces. But yeah, I think Renee was really amongst. So I apologize if I'm repeating anything, but what Renee said about organic versus inorganic, and now Mo, what you just said about how there's no elements and it's like almost like it's back to like an original like roots, if you will, and it's kind of interesting. I think that's a very interesting key in the whole movie, and everyone talks about how Gordy, like they don't understand that, or a lot of people say they don't understand that whole storyline. I think that storyline, it could have been, Jordan Peele's incredible, and maybe there may be some craft things that people are identifying, but I think from a story standpoint, that was really important because
fully agree.
The relation, it's the whole core of the movie. The dynamic between Gordy the monkey and Stephen Ewan's character, I forget his name, and it's like this relate. I know we mock the word spectacle, but the whole movie feels to me like a reminder of how humanity often forgets that animals are still animals. Shit happens, and you think you have control until you don't. And it's really about, even when the father, Keith, not Sweat, Grant, the father character, he dies. He doesn't die through something inorganic or organic. He dies because Jean Jacket is pissed when she's hurt by the inorganic. So I think that's a really interesting dynamic throughout the whole thing. And also, it's interesting. I think, I don't know about you guys, but when you first see the ranch area, or rather the amusement area, I thought it was going to be a cowboy thing and fully and only cowboys.
Right.
Until we see, as you referenced in the jump scare, it's actually an alien site thing, which is another example of this character using Jean Jacket as a spectacle. And they were fine with it until they weren't.
Right.
And that's also why I shared 2 tweets, one of which is a poster, which I think is really awesome, which kind of speaks to that. And then that Jordan Peele. And then also I shared an interview with basically it's a Caltech guy, and it's all engineering stuff. So Mo, you'll really love it in particular, but it's really fascinating. He talks about jellyfish and how they really got all this design information. And I'm sure you guys have said a lot of this stuff, but love this movie. And thanks.
Oh, we love that. Thank you so much. Yams Casino.
I just have more praise for Jordan Peele's filmmaking. You can tell that he has a very controlled way of directing. Like everything is curated, which I think plays into his just love of films, and you can see his influences all throughout this movie. There's obviously there's a Kira slide. I tweeted that out as soon as it happened because I was like, really, you just added that, so I was excited about that. Then there's some influences from westerns like the movie Shane, like 1953 movie, that whole ambiguous ending where he falls off the horse. Then there's Quentin Tarantino, with his whole love for how movies are made. But the thing is, Jordan Peele doesn't make it so obvious. He doesn't have like a person that jumps in and has to narrate like, this is how film is made, right? He does it very seamlessly,
right?
Which I appreciated.
Yep.
Yeah.
Heldo, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask one thing I wanted to shout out was I really liked the chemistry between Kaluuya's characters and Keke Palmer's character. I like they played being brother and sister very well to me, and I don't know if anyone else got a little bit emotional when Daniel was on the horse, Keke was on the bike, the alien was in the middle of them, and Daniel does the whole like 2-finger I'm looking at you thing, and it's a callback from when they were kids and they did it, and then Keke does it back. I don't know, I thought that was amazing, and the score during that scene was just, you could feel the emotion there. So I want to give them their props for what they did in that movie. But yeah, I also have just a question for like the general audience. What do we think about the shoe and the shoe standing up? Just because I was trying to research like how that played into it. I don't know if that like is what got Stephen Yeun's character into like the supernatural, because he knew that the aliens existed. They were going to be a part of his show. So yeah, any thoughts on that and the brother sister dynamic?
Absolutely. And I think we're going to close here in about 15 minutes, but I definitely want to answer the question about the shoe. I want to bring up some other things that we touched on and maybe things you may not have noticed. And I also want to explain kind of, and Jake, I think you did a great job, honestly, the Gordy situation. And I want to admit, welcome, Chule, welcome to the stage, welcome to What We Watch. I think real quick, the Gordy situation. Welcome, Gary. The Gordy situation was very important, very pivotal. I admit, and I say this as I explain it, I even admit myself, the very first scene of this film was regarding Monkey Paw. I don't know if you know Jordan Peele's thing is Monkey Paw Productions. So the guy is really feeling himself right now. He's in his bag. But this horror film was about the ugly sides of filmmaking. Just so you know, like it was beautiful. But anyways, this Monkey Paw situation, the Gordy, really drove home. It was almost the center of this movie, to be honest with you. And it was like, again, there are times when you're creating art, but you create a spectacle out of things that may not want to be a part of that art, or see, I said things, creatures, human beings, whatever, that do not want to be a part of that art or have their own kind of feelings and stimuli, like you were saying earlier, Renee, and things that, they need to be considered. And, does a wild animal need to be on set? And we never really question that, right? Because we like wild animals on set, right? We like to see things. As viewers, we like to see a different type of creature on site. We sometimes are like, why CGI? Just get a real horse, right? There were actually horses in this film on set for this. So it was very kind of meta, but the Gordy situation was very important because it showed you that the horror side of making things making things a part of your art that don't want to be a part of your art, or that have limits and boundaries, and what happens when you push that. It also represented the idea that the supernatural does exist and the crazy bad miracles can happen, right? Because remember, Jupe was kept talking about, or who was it? I think it was OJ kept talking about bad miracles. I think that whole situation, obviously it wasn't a miracle, but remember, the girl that got hit technically survived. So it was a bad miracle because of that situation, they ended up being able to open Jupiter's claim and make those things. And this is where I tie in the shoe. In my head, the shoe was just indicative that there are certain supernatural forces outside of what we just arrogantly think to be our own, which is exactly the concept of identifying UFOs. So to me, the shoe was just representative of okay, I think Renee, you brought up a good point about was it you, Renee, that said looking at the shoe saved Steven Yeun's life?
Yes, because he didn't have eye contact. And apparently it was under the chapter clover, maybe that was his 4-leaf clover.
Yes, and that was definitely part of it. But yeah, the shoe was indicative that there has always been supernatural existence, supernatural powers there. There have always been bad miracles that exist. There was a couple dialogue. There's a few pages of dialogue in that film about it. And so I think the shoe was just representative of that. And I think that's the reason why I'm so sure of that is because when you go into this secret room, he had the shoe sitting there in a little glass box, which just was representative to him of what he survived and why he survived it, and that shit do be crazy. And so the fact that a UFO is coming to eat somebody at a ranch is not that crazy to him. And then you see the end of that, which is yeah, he's already admitted. No, we don't even know through the film. Steven Yeun is not. he's also privy to this UFO, Jean Jacket. He knows that this Jean Jacket exists too, but he's been exploiting it. The other thing I want to add to that is something that maybe you guys didn't notice. The reason why a lot of people, because it's assumed in the movie that he has successfully done a lot of these shows where he lets a horse out, right? Because everybody agrees that, right? He's had a lot of successful shows, right?
Yes.
We all agree on that. So that means that Jean Jacket has come over them and not eaten them, right? And what is Jean Jacket? How does Jean Jacket decide he's going to eat you? Is by you looking at it. If you go back to that scene, almost everybody in that scene has hats on. Even the lady that got maimed by the chimp has a veil over her face because she got mauled. But even when she looks up, she's never looking at Jean Jacket. So every time she got to enjoy the quote unquote spectacle, she never got eaten because that veil was over. And I know that this is true. If you don't realize, I'm like, I fucking loved it. I was obsessed with it when I saw it. The wind blew her veil up too hard because this time the jean jacket was fucked with because Lucky wouldn't leave because Lucky a black horse. Lucky don't play that shit. This time her veil was lifted up, and that's why she had that claustrophobic, fucked up ass death. Because now she's looking at Jean Jacket. Now everybody else was looking up at Jean Jacket because Jean Jacket pulled up at a specific different time, and it was like it was not time for that. So now everybody looked directly at Jean Jacket, got sucked up, and then all their blood ended up on the house. So I thought that was beautifully done. And if you don't realize too, Droop is able to send these horses out because even when he looks up, he still has the large brim of his hat kind of covering his view. And that might have been what's been protecting him over the last few kind of like situations and little stage and viewings that he had for my brain is like not working, whatever, the little presentations that he had. His big old hat, I don't know if you notice, he wears like a little hat, and that goes back into like the cowboy thing, and maybe that's why cowboys are protected, and then the aliens and all that kind of stuff. The alien kids had masks on, so even if they looked up at Jean Jacket didn't notice that. So anyways, it was really cool how they did Jupiter's claim, and they answered a question that would have been a very like hard question, like why isn't Jean Jacket eating up Jupiter's claim? Because they'd have made a whole fucking money out of it, and it's because all of them are generally covered, and by the time it's there, he's eating the horse, or Jean Jacket it's eating the horse, and it's happy. So wanted to get that out the way, and I hope I described the Gordy situation well enough. If you have any questions, happy to talk more about the Gordy situation because I loved it. I thought the first scene in the Gordy thing was like a whole separate movie, honestly. I didn't even know. I thought I was like, oh, here's like the production scene. I guess Jordan Peele has a new production scene where before all his movies, like, the Blumhouse thing, before every Blumhouse horror film or whatever. I thought that was that, and I was like, oh shit. Later when they showed the channel, I was like, oh shit, that was part of the movie. The movie had started at that point. So that was really cool. Gary, go ahead.
Hey, good evening. Yeah, one thing that I thought was really interesting with regard to the conversation about consumption and exploitation, and you mentioned the white character a couple times, the guy that had the mechanical camera instead of the electrical joint. I felt like that his only purpose in the film, particularly at that point, was to represent the whitewashing of, Black cinema, like just how they were mentioning since the beginning of the film that, the first, motion picture, so on and so forth, was a black man on a horse, so on and so forth. So they spend majority of the movie trying to get the quote unquote Oprah shot. And this nigga decides that he gonna run out there because, and he verbalized it, you don't deserve, the Oprah shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna go and steal this motherfucking Oprah shot because, that's what whitewashing is about. Like, I feel like he came down there just to represent that.
Mm-hmm. There definitely was speaking to that betrayal, and I hated it. And to your point, right? Jordan Peele probably wanted me to hate it. That character was so annoying to me. He made me feel I didn't like him. And now that you're saying that, is because white people do be coming in, stealing stuff, calling it theirs. But I also think that with that situation, I think he was purposely committing suicide. Maybe I misread that, but I think his selfishness got him so much, his ego got so big in his head that he was like, no one deserved this purpose shot. And that also speaks to how white people are. Sometimes to their own detriment, they will keep things away from marginalized groups of people, especially Black people, right? Sometimes to their own detriment. It's like, I want y'all to make money so badly. I don't want y'all to make any money so badly that I'm going to kill myself with this camera. Like, that's so dramatic. Like, boy, let them have the damn, like, y'all could have split the money. There were like 15 other options here. But you're right, like that represents whiteness in a way, as far as like historically understanding it in American society. So yeah, I respect that. Renee?
So something that I also thought about, it just, because he got the shot that he was like, no, the sun is going to be perfect. It just like made me think about how a bunch of influencers, like if you look it up on Wikipedia, you can find influencer deaths by trying to get the perfect shot. And I think it, once again, just kind of plays into, how people are risking their lives, their livelihood, just to say that they were, I think it really, this plays a lot about like consumption. Like, I don't know. Peele has a lot to say about Hollywood.
You don't fuck with Hollywood, I'm telling you. And it could not be more clear. There was like literally no debate, no discussion here. Look at how, think about this absolutely horrific film. Did you really see anybody like die gruesomely? Like, you saw the chimp go fucking crazy. You saw Gordy go fucking crazy. But even that was so beautifully shot. Oh my God. Shout out to Hoyt
What
Van
about TMC guy? Sorry.
The cinematography guy, that, hold on one second, Jake. The cinematography of those Gordy scenes were perfect. You never actually saw any Gordy go off, you know. There was like some sort of like weird respect, and the camera angles of all the horrific scenes was really just blood shooting up. And I think Jordan has a respect for the viewers in the way that, like, I don't need to see what's happening to know what's happening. I hear it, I can feel it, and I know enough, my brain knows enough to kind of put together what might be happening behind that couch, what the chimp is doing, what might be happening behind the door when his dumb ass, when I was like, Gordy, no, please, Gordy, no. Like, I don't have to see it. And I think, you know, if you think back to a lot of conversations in horror films, you're like, did you have to show that? And I appreciate Jordan being like, yeah, sometimes I don't. What if I use the other senses of people, in like, including, you know, like sound, obviously, to really write this story of horror? And I think he really depended on that. But when the TMZ guy came, we had to sit with the TMZ guy doing all that crazy, like, his fucking monologue was insane, just trying to capture the perfect shot, right? Like you said, Renee, I think TMZ was the perfect, like, rendition of that in those stories. Like, he just wanted to get the perfect shot. TMZ always want to get the perfect shot. Don't matter who's affected, how they feel. They just want to make sure that they get the story out first. And he was sitting there maimed. His limbs were fucked up. He's begging for his life. You know, they even have OJ, that obviously the most empathetic, quiet, introverted character, try to save him. And even he set a boundary. He was like, you know what? You acting an ass. And you focus on the wrong thing. We just trying to get this motherfucker to leave us alone and get our money, but you doing the most for the money. So, yeah, it's very, very clear that what the film hates and what the film was chastising and shunning is the TMZ type beats, you know. Anybody else have any comments?
Yeah. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. Sorry, I thought what you said about the respect to showing the horror is really interesting. One, I hated horror movies growing up. It took me a long time to get into them. I love them now. One of the reasons I hated them is because I get squeamish around too much gore. Although I love Tarantino movies, but that's another conversation. But the thing is, I think that's really interesting about Peele movies, and this also goes back to Get Out. I haven't seen Us actually, but with Get Out as well, people call that a horror as well, and it is, but it's not a slasher film, which is I think what many people who were born in the 80s and 90s tend to think about what a horror movie actually is until recently. And so, and I think with that being said, I think, you know, when I'm Jewish, and when we talk about the Holocaust, there's a famous book called The Banality of Evil. And they talk about it and say, Americans don't really understand the Holocaust, and they never did. Because, and when I say Americans, let me clarify, white America, let me specify. When I say this, I mean white America. They don't care about Judaism. They don't care about any of that. Because and when it comes to The Banality of Evil is the name of the book, it talks about most people don't believe the Holocaust or didn't believe in the Holocaust when it was happening because they couldn't fathom that their neighbor, their fellow human being, could do that sort of atrocity. They couldn't even imagine it. And so I think Jordan Peele kind of tapping into something similar. It's like he didn't want Ewan's character to see that. You don't want the audience to see that. There's so much more scary. It's the mystery of not knowing.
Yep.
Is so much scarier than knowing. What is it? The devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. Well, this is the devil you don't know.
Preach.
So, yeah. Anyway, lots more, but anyway, thank you so much.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. And so again, just shout out to Jordan Peele. I think I keep like not finishing my sentences, but earlier I was talking about Jordan Peele pushing my horror agenda. And I think it's because, I think Jasmine, you said it earlier, I don't even like horror, but you know, it sounds like you've watched all 3 of Jordan Peele's horror films, and he is a horror film guy. So I really appreciate him. Honestly, I'm ready to say it, redefining horror. I think, guys, we are in the middle of a revolution, a horror film revolution. We are witnessing it real time. I said this on the podcast I was on last night, but in 20 to 30 years, you're going to hear people referencing Jordan Peele like they reference Steven Spielberg and M. Night Shyamalan and all of them now. Like, I mean, if not before 20, 30 years, honestly, within 5-10 years. Get Out has already been, you know, the topic of many, you know, courses in film and in college and stuff. But it's just really cool because, again, sound has always been a huge currency in horror, but, you know, Jordan Peele takes it to a whole nother level, and he lets the actors kind of show, like, he gets that unknown aspect of it. How many times did we get lost in Daniel Kaluuya's eyes and Get Out? It's the same shit here, right? Literally we're always like, as soon as it was revealed that looking at Jean Jacket becomes an issue, we were always looking at Daniel Kaluuya's eyes, like, all right, nigga, don't look up. Like the car scene where the metal horse and the flags fell into the car. That was the most terrifying scene, and all it was a fake ass horse in a car and Jordan Peele locking the doors. Beautifully shot. The darkness, the shadows against a dark man's beautiful skin. It was just really beautiful. All we could see was his eyes. And I think Jordan Peele loves to sit with a lot of these actors and just like kind of let them act. And we just kind of look at them, and he lets the cinematographer do his thing. We don't have to show people dying for you to know that people are dying. We don't have to show people getting maimed and heads being decapitated and bodies being crushed up. I can just show you a horrific scene of how much blood is covering this house, and you get the picture, right? It's really, really cool and really bold. So any last comments? I have one last question, or if Renee, you have one last question that we can talk about and wrap this room up. It's been beautiful. I think we covered damn near everything.
I just want to say, if Kiki is queer, I would believe it, because she was acting.
An actor, okay? Period. And I love that they touched on her queerness in that too. I got a beautiful amount of queerness in Thor: Love and Thunder. So these back-to-back theater experiences for me, with just queer Black women, I'm gonna have to stand. Representation matters. Any other last comments? Chule, welcome to the stage.
Thank you, Peach. Thank you so much. I love when you have these. Lo que yo quería decir is I agree with you wholeheartedly. I'm somebody that's been watching horror movies literally since I was born. I don't like action. I don't like comedy. I don't like nothing. If it is not scary, I'm not watching it. Simple.
Okay.
I have seen every single scary movie for the last 30 years because that's how old I am, and even once previous to that. Jordan Peele's movies make me feel a different type of fucking way. And when I saw Get Out, I told myself, nah, this story is good. This is real. This is Black people. That's why it's touching me like this. That's why I think about it like this. That's why I'm dreaming about it like this. But no, it's none of that. It's Jordan. His mind has gone beyond, way beyond the horror world that we're all used to. And I watch even foreign horror films, and nobody is doing it like my guy. He makes you feel chills. Literally looking at the poster when I was going to watch this movie, I think back to his previous movies, and I was shaking. I was like, this is going to be so good. And it's scary in a whole nother type of way that you never thought would be scary.
I love this. I'm telling you, me and you, we got to connect. I got to
We
share.
always, me and you, Peach, we always. And I just wanted to agree with you because he is a legend, and I don't want to hear nobody say nothing else about it. In 30 years, he's gonna be the blueprint. And another thing that I wanted to say, you know how like that he was previewing the movies and he wasn't like talking in the previews and the promos trailers, they wasn't really talking about what it's about.
Right.
I feel like that other people is gonna copy that. Other movies is gonna copy that. They're gonna make, instead of putting all of the action and all of the funny shit and all of the important stuff that happens in the trailers to get people to watch the movie, they're gonna go the Jordan route, and they're gonna make it really, low key, like they don't show nothing that is happening, so that attracts them. Because that's one thing that even attracted me even more so to go watch this movie, because I was confused. I was like, yo, what is this about?
Right.
It's amazing.
Yes, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I honestly don't watch trailers at all. And so I love going into stuff blind. I'm really getting a lot of people on the train with me. Just watch the trailer after the movie. It's really cool. It's fine. But shout out to trailer makers. I know that's an art in and of itself with marketing. But I will not watch a horror trailer because I just feel like sometimes it'd be doing a little too much. Definitely won't watch a Marvel trailer. So, but yes, to your point, Jordan Peele, like, and he says in the interview sometimes, like, whatever y'all feel. It's whatever y'all feel, and it's like, Jordan, we know some of the stuff you were saying. But yes, I love a filmmaker and a screenwriter, because that's all we do. We prioritize feelings, and we empathize, and we write characters that emote and elicit emotions, right? So, Renee, go ahead.
I think what Jordan Peele is doing with horror is he's also merging elements of sci-fi. Like, I love sci-fi, and part of the reason why I love sci-fi is about like the human condition. There's often sort of these like metaphors. It's about like self-mastery. And I know somebody said that like they liked Nope and they felt like it was just like a movie you just enjoy that you don't think about. I felt like I was thinking way more in this movie than I ever did with Us. Like, this movie was extremely meta. It was like almost like watching like Black Mirror on like steroids. It was like very terrifying. That's like, because like I'm really like, damn, like, do I need to delete my Instagram account? Why the fuck am I letting myself be consumed?
You need to be like Jean Jacket and eat these motherfuckers and spit them the
and mind my business. And you know what? And also, I wanted to say that, yeah, there was a lesson there. Mind your fucking business. I've been minding my business. I look younger. You can't call me 35 anymore, Mo.
There's things that you did recently.
I'm 25. We're gonna make a TikTok. I'm gonna do TikTok dance. I'm 25 because I mind my business.
Period. And really, I'm telling y'all, that's really what this movie was about. Mind your damn business. Why is you looking at me like that? We've all been in the club one time and somebody look at you crazy. You're like, what the fuck are you looking at? Look somewhere else. So that's really the moral of this story. Mind your damn business. I also just want to say, refer to him as 3-Pete JP, 3-Pete Jordan Peele. He 3 for 3. Even if you didn't like adore Us, I'm with you. I understand the spotty parts. I understand it. But I think the Us truthers, including Renee, I think there was still a lot of beautiful, kind of commentary there, and a really beautiful story. I like uniqueness in my horror, and Us was extremely unique, even in all of the elements that it pulled. Remember, I told you to look up the movies that influenced Us. It's really beautiful, like just the symbolism and the way they took it. And obviously the symbolism and the influences on this film, Jaws for Steven Spielberg, Signs, right? A bunch of alien movies. I'm actually shocked that when we're talking about our favorite creature features, that no one said Pacific Rim. Did y'all hate Pacific Rim or did y'all love it? I loved it. That's totally fine. So I think that we need to respect Jordan. We are literally in the middle. We are watching a master at work. And I'm so excited for us. The cool thing is if you want to think during a Jordan Peele movie, you can, but you can also just go in and be like, this movie didn't make me think. I think both sides of the audience are extremely accurate and extremely valuable. This is just a fun movie about a cloud and a fucking UFO and a motherfucker with a stomach ache and a blanket, okay? Or this is also a meditative, comment on systematic abuse and how Black people are treated and how we make things into consumption exploitation 100% of the time. And maybe we need to think about the ugly parts of Hollywood and just really focus on the beauty and the art of filmmaking. Again, I really just want you to walk away remembering that Jordan Peele clearly loves making movies, but making movies comes with a lot of other shit that isn't always so beautiful. And maybe you do kind of think about it, how it affects your life and how you kind of experience and look at things and quite frankly, mind your business. But mind your business by watching watching Nope, watching all Jordan Peele films, a lot of the other recommendations. This space is recorded. We have a beautiful stop at 2 hours. Follow What We Watch Film TV at the top, hashtag What We Watch with your feelings and your thoughts. If you hated this space, impossible, so I won't even address that. If you loved it, tell me why you loved it, and connect with people in here, with like-minded people that you agreed with, that you disagreed with. I always support all of that. So thank you so much for rocking with me for What We Watch. Thank you to my lovely co-host Renee. And shout out 3P JP. Bye.
Love your work. Peace.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.